Welcome back to CVM Live. The issue of road safety has managed to maintain its relevance given the spiraling road fatalities. Many a system has been utilized, put into practice, and legislated, all seemingly unable to bring about the desired result. So where do we turn in our effort to eliminate the scourge? Practicing road safety and consistently adhering to the road code? This evening, we will tell you about the things that you really need to know and what should be done. We have a highly esteemed panel to navigate this issue. We have Ms. Lisa-Gaye Greene, Senior Projects Manager at the GeoInformatics Institute, and Dr. Lucian Jones, Vice Chairman, Convener of the National Road Safety Council. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Road fatalities in Jamaica. A little over 300 persons have been killed. Approximately 30% of those fatalities have been motorcyclists. Christmas is upon us. It is a happy season. It is a glorious season, but on the roadways, it can become a silly season. Dr. Jones, what is the most pressing piece of advice that you can give us during this season?
The figure is actually 310 as of today, compared with 365 last year. 18 people have died since the beginning of the month of December. 15 people died in October and 17 in November. So it puts things in perspective. Our biggest problem, as you mentioned, is the number of motorcyclists who are dying. They are dying because they're not wearing helmets. They are dying because they are driving carelessly. They are dying because they won't slow down. So the big message, and so far for this year, it's about 90. And part of the problem, in 2012, 260 people died. A dramatic fall from over 400 when we started in 1993. And the reason why it went up from 260 in 2012 to 379 last year and 381 the year before has because of the dramatic increase in motorcycle deaths. In 2012, it's about 40. 1 year it went up to 110. So if we can manage to send a clear message to those who are driving motorcyclists, they and their pillion riders, I beg you, Tessan has been very helpful, and Agent Sasko, wear your helmets. 90% of those who are dying on roads are not wearing helmets. It saves about 40% of lives if you are wearing your helmet and about 60% of injuries. So if you can't get any other message across to the motoring public, I beg you, wear your helmet.
Mrs. Greene, from where you sit at GeoInformatics, how do you assess our situation on the roads?
Well, at Mona GeoInformatics Institute, we are persons mapping crashes across the island and analyzing the distribution. So work closely with the police to identify those hotspots. And as was mentioned in an earlier news item, we actually identified those areas where the police need to go and have those road safety initiatives, and also where they put their spot checks and so forth. So we actually help them to identify those problem areas and then to go into those areas and speak to the road users, and also to look at what infrastructure is actually along the roadway that may be causing these crashes.
Can you tell us which areas are the hot spots? We know that Westmoreland accounts for 15% approximately of the road fatalities.
Sure. So when we look at motorcyclists, we identify Westmoreland as being a troubled parish. When we look at crashes in general, fatal crashes in general, we've identified several sections of the North Coast Highway. So the sections of Greene Island and Runaway Bay, some areas of Old Harbour as well have been those hotspot areas we see from 2016. We saw from 2016 to 2017 as well.
Well, Dr. Jones and Ms. Greene, we have the data, or we seem to have a lot of data surrounding crashes and accidents in Jamaica. But the data has not, and this must be a frustration to both of you, has not translated into the kind of successes in terms of reducing the core number of accidents and fatal accidents in the country. What is the cause of that? Why is it that we can't get initiatives to really drive the number of fatalities down on the road?
Well, a number of things. Again, when the National Road Safety Council was started in 1993, regularly over 400 people were dying. 2012, 260, a dramatic reduction. So it proves the point that if we work together, and it's all about partnerships, we introduce legislation, drink and drive, safety devices, the figures came down dramatically. It has gone up mainly because of the behavior of our motorcyclists. If we can get into the heads of these people that they need to be extremely careful, then it can make a difference. That's number one. Number two, we are moving away internationally from using what the UN call vaccines, where you wear a seatbelt, you put on your helmet, you drive slowly, to a system which is called the safe systems. And it's a philosophy. And what it says is that not if, but when people make mistakes, you create a system that they don't punish them with death and injury on the roads. So you have safe speeds, you have safe vehicles, you have safe safe road users. And one of the things that came out of the recent forum is that safe infrastructure saves lives. And one of the things that we are going to be doing is downloading an app from the International Road Assessment Program. I'm going to use this app, and it can help to design the school zone. We focus on children during this forum. Design a school zone around the school that you can upgrade the road from a safety star 1 to a safety star 3. 5 is the highest. And in that way, we can begin to introduce in schools across the island areas of safety. Because one of the things that we want to get across to the modern public is that every child has a right to go to school safely. It's a UN mandate, and we are following this in Jamaica.
Mrs. Greene, what is Mona GeoInformatics doing in terms of this infrastructural program?
Well, we have been looking at the street furniture along roadways to identify which roadways would need some improvement to reduce number of crashes. Like Dr. Jones, we believe that human behavior have been really causing these crashes, but we believe as well if you create that safe environment along our roadways, it would also reduce crashes. So we have been identifying those hotspot areas and identifying the assets or features along those roadways that may need attention to reduce crashes.
We speak of partnerships, and I'm not trying to bash any of your partners. And you speak of modifying behavior, but a big part of modifying behavior of road users and the operators of motor vehicles and motorbikes must, of course, be the police force.
Absolutely.
But
and they're a great partner.
And they're great partners. But many persons,
Allen has been wonderful in this.
But many persons have the sense that oftentimes officers are not on the road necessarily to modify behavior, but more for revenue collection. So is it that the police, a number of persons or the practices of the police force could be better to enable the reduction of...
No question about it. I mean, it's not a secret, and it happens in all the countries. There's corruption in the police force. We accept this, and we have spoken about it publicly. And when we meet with the Prime Minister, it's an issue. It comes up. In fact, former Prime Minister Bruce Golding, during a meeting with him, called out and demanded from the police to get every single policeman who had a vehicle on the road. He wanted a list. I know if he ever got a list, but he demanded a list. I read recently where the Commissioner Quayler has also asked for this list. Will they get it? I don't know. But that is beyond our jurisdiction. What we know is that the leadership of the traffic division of the police force in SSP Allen is somebody who we can trust and who has done wonderful work. I mean, the police they have issued over 40,000 more tickets for this year than last year. And that's part of the reason why we have had this fairly dramatic decrease in the road fatalities for this year. So yes, there's need for improvement, but as far as I'm concerned, the police, they are doing a wonderful job.
Mrs. Greene, what's your experience working with the police so closely?
Well, in mapping the locations of crashes, we have to collect the data from the police, and the relationship is very good with them. We actually help them to inform where they actually go to do their spot checks, as I mentioned before. With limited resources, one has to decide or to choose carefully where do you go and deploy your resources. And so what we do is to identify these locations so that they can be more informed, not just to go any random location, but to know exactly where there's a need to have these road safety initiatives.
Dr. Jones, 27% approximately of the persons killed on the roadways are actually pedestrians. What advice do you have for pedestrians in the season?
Well, that's a big problem. That's been a problem over the years. And it's not just pedestrians in terms of what we call the vulnerable road users, the pedal cyclists, the motorcyclists, and the pedestrians. Those account for 2/3 number of people who die on our roads. We have struggled over the years to get the numbers down. It has to do with speed. If, for example, go back to the safe speed thing again. If a car hits a child who's running across the road, and children will run across the road, you'll never get away from that. In excess of 30 kilometers per hour, that child is more likely to die. So we have to have safe speeds where you have either 30 kilometers per hour or less in a built-up area. That is the answer to the problem, because many of the pedestrians who are dying on our roads are dying because people are just traveling too fast. When they hit them, they die. So yes, pedestrians have a role to play. They need to be very careful on the roads. Stop using your cell phone on the roads and walking across aimlessly. So in the same way you say don't text and drive, don't walk and drive. Don't walk and text. So you have to be extra careful. You have to look, walk on the side facing the traffic. You wear the dark clothes at night, so you don't wear light color clothes, and so people can, you wear light color clothes and not dark, so people can see you. So all of these things, but at the end of the day, you have to create a system that when people make a mistake, they're not punished by death and injury. So one of the things that we are going to push in very carefully in our country is this concept of safe speeds. It saves lives.
Mrs. Greene, what about pedestrian crossings? There's a complaint that those that exist are not functioning properly. From your mapping of these hotspots, have you instituted any pedestrian crossings?
Well, we have recognized that there is a need for more pedestrian crossings, but there's also a need to educate the public as well to use them correctly. There may be a pedestrian crossing nearby, but persons still choose not to use them. So we have made recommendations for more to be painted, but there's also a need for the pedestrians themselves to be educated that they should use this for their own safety.
Okay, ladies, gentlemen, it was a pleasure having you all on CVM Live. We've taken away some key messages for everybody this season. Put safety first this season, and to our motorcyclists, please wear your helmets. When we return from this break, lifestyle and entertainment, and our sports feature, the Community Beat.